Okay, good morning, all of you. Just we had seen the overall completion up to this. That is what actually the project management is about, how the project is going to be work and how my project should be scheduled, how I'm going to track it. So overall, we had seen the previous session. So just for a repetition, I will go again back. Just a small overlook because there was some more gap. That's why we are having some these differences to calculate why we had project schedulation or project management processes with us. So project planning and management we are dealing with, and we had seen most of the time that contents are with us, but how we are going to plan, how we are going to manage is the main problem. So here, how to manage the project, how to develop the proper product, and how to get a proper idea how my project is going to be done and how I'm going to do in a group or in a teamwork. How what will be the scheduled time or what will when will it will get finished, and all these things we had seen here up till the efforts we had seen the efforts, how we are going to measure that, on which basis means my project cost will be defined, means line of code for each project will be varying. So how I'm going to deal with it. So all these conditions we had with us, and already we discussed these problems in the previous session. So the content we gone through is the project manager process, in which we had seen these four steps where the project is going to be scheduled. That is feasibility study, project planning, project execution, project termination. So all these are the processes in your project management. Then in the after the management we gone through the inspection and audit process, where we had overall inspection, what it will be the audit content or the process looks like. Again, what is the condition for inspection, why we are providing inspection or audit for each project or product development for product development, because every time we have to calculate the content, or we have to calculate the performance. For that purpose we using this inspection and audit process. And similarly, if there is a very big project or a very complicated project, then we need to establish a team for it, a specific team for it. Otherwise, we will include all the content within them, and we can we can only look overall for the inspection. We can perform it. Okay. Now the next part we had seen about the software configuration manual, that is SCM. This process, in that we had gone through the stepwise process, that is how the configuration is getting managed overall in this process, in software development process. So that was the identification, change control, version control, configuration, auditing, and reporting we had seen. And we gone through each and every step one by one, where the change and control, version control, again identification, were the basic concept, basic ideas of our project management. And they had given us a variation. Again, we had seen in the change control, we had access control and synchronization control, which will have some authority. Again, authentication is also checked in the configuration, and means which content is belong to which part, means means we had to govern which software engineer have the authority in order to access or modify that configuration. Again, because everyone don't know the server's password in order to get operated, because the main only the person is dealing with it. Okay. So this is the condition. Next, we had gone through some efforts estimation. Means estimation, how I'm going to calculate the project cost. Yeah. So in that we had seen the basic rule, that is the person per hour or money is the basic idea for effort. How to calculate the effort estimation. Then we had seen why we need this effort estimation, why it is actually needed. And lastly, we had gone through project schedule and staffing, means how I'm going to schedule it and how I'm going to distribute the team or distribute the persons per schedule. So this is overall my project scheduling and staffing was. In project scheduling, again, task is assigned to some content, assigned to functions, and will be have some basic role. Okay. And we had gone through some charts, and again scheduling, how I'm going to display it. So this is overall we had, that is peak time size we have given, and how my staffing will be done. So here I already declared that there is staffing level is not going to change continuously in a project, as approximation of relay curves are used, assigning a few people at the start and having the peak team during the coding phase, and then leaving that few people for integration and system team. Means these peoples are not related to, after the coding they are not responsible for anything. Means if the code is correct, then they are not responsible. So we had to left these people to other content or other system, to other, so that here I have leave the people for some other part or other phase, so that they can do that content, that work over there. And after this scheduling, means properly scheduled and staff I have overall given to the project. Okay. Now next part was the quality planning, how I will consider whether the my product, whatever the product I'm going to design, is having a quality or not, or quality concept we are saying, and qualitative quality management planning we had given here. In the quality planning, I have just given a diagram, that is how my requirement analysis. At each phase, I'm going to do a quality check. At each phase, I'm going to do a quality check. And so that it is responsible for my quality production. And that quality concepts we deal with. And this diagram is just the overall general information regarding the software development. And next we gone through quality concept includes some points, that is portability, usability, reusability, correctness, maintenance should be also there for our quality check. And next part, the second point in the quality planning, that was the qualitative quality management planning we had, because already we have some these all contents we had already further seen in the previous chapters also, but still what activities it includes. So these are the activities, means auditing, then review, development, production of documentation, and evaluation. These are the main things, or you can say the main activities of your QC, that is quality systems activities. Yes. Next part was we had seen through the diagram what actually the quality assurance and what actually the product assurance gives me. So this is just an overlook. It is not related to the content, but it is just an overlook how my quality assurance will have the phases and will be correspondingly shift to in the quality paradigm. So we had gone through these diagram. Then we seen the CMM module. You called it as a capability maturity model, and we called it as something uh, as a CMM. In short, we called it as a CMM project model. And here we had seen five, what we called it as a five level. And in that five levels, we had overall some phases. And here in CMM, it is related to the organizational part. It is related to organizational part, and where, because at a high, whenever I'm achieving each and everything at a proper time, at proper level, and it will maybe a costing, it may be very expensive and may have, and we called it as an very expensive as well as a time consuming. So achieve such levels, we need a time to be consumed, very consuming, and achieving these levels may have the overall efforts are be going to be measured. So in this project we gone through some five stages, five levels you called, that is initial, manage, define, measure, optimization. Initial is nothing but it is we had the peoples who are working at this level. We had some inconsistency again, occasionally even we used to check whether these contents are defined at this level. Means peoples are get judged with their skill, peoples are get their judged with their skill. And similarly, then the second point was the manage, that is we called it as a defined person. Again repeatedly we used to manage all this controlling, monitoring. So all this is get managed here. In the third level we used to define actually the content, legal contents we have to define here, and we have to provide each every part. Then the fourth one was the major, means we are going to evaluate the software quality process and peer review is going to be done. And lastly, the optimization, where how I'm going to optimize the content, how I'm going to testing the process, again how the quality control will be get tested over there. So all these things are related to your optimization, which is the highest level. Yeah. Now the second, the next part was after the CMM model, we had a risk management planning, because whenever we used to plan a project, or whenever we are saying that the project is going to be defined, that time we are having an idea of which risk will be occur. Means we have to be in a prepare, we have to set a proper mind before making it very much compatible, and we have to make these contents very probably. That is, risk is nothing but it is untreated, and we have to keep in mind for that. We have to be able to identify and able to eliminate these problems at the before it will damage the project. So that's for how I'm going to manage it. I have given here with some basic risk types also we had discussed here, and how I'm going to deal with it. So I have used some techniques also, how that managed content will be elaborated or again distributed again. So they are distributed in risk assessment and risk control. This assessment again deals with again three phases. It will works on, means it will identify, it will analyze, and it will prioritize which risk should be get first assigned to do on work, or whether it is dependent or not. So on this basis, the it will be defined. Then the after the prioritization, management planning will be done. That is risk resolution and risk monitoring will be done at a high risk. Okay. So at a high point we have to resolve it, and at a critical point we have to again monitor continuously whether that risk is again creating a problem or not. So this is nothing but we had gone through the management. Then some techniques we had seen here. Some whatever actually this is given the risk item, and this is the actually provided risk management techniques here. And that is we had some of the basic techniques we can schedule, how it will be looks like will be given. Yeah. And risk contents are defined easily. So when we had a risk over there, we have to calculate how I'm going to calculate that. So risk calculator is given by relationship, that it is a product of probability and loss of your undesirable outcome. So whatever we had, it is a product of your risk assessment, or we can call it as RE in short. Then identification is the first step of this risk assessment. So we will have to define all the different risks for a particular project. And the risk control. Here we had risk resolution and monitoring part. So we gone through all these parts with some keeping the goal of reducing the risk in our project or in our development. Okay. So next part was the practically approach, how I will means consider the risk management. So we had these exposure as a simple practical way of doing the work and planning the risk, and also will be categorized some in impact in the few levels, and then we can use it for prioritization. Many organizations use this practical approach, because all they are basically aware of they will receive and risk at any rate, or it will have some approaching toward at any time of at any phase you can take this the risk can be create or generated. So this is actually my approach toward this. So for each risk, rate of probability happening, low, medium will be decided. Again, risk assessment impact will also get decided in the phase of low, medium or high. Again, rank of the risk based on the probability and effects on the project. And also the last one, that is a select the top few risk item for mitigation and tracking. So we already had these techniques and already had seen the content over there. So this is nothing but we had the judgment passing toward in to a conflict. If it is achieved toward the conflict, we used to have some these conditions. Okay. Now the next point actually we had today to discuss was a project monitoring planning. Already I have given small brief idea about measurements and project monitoring and tracking. Okay, so what actually the measurements is nothing but we used to calculate something. Yes, the basic purpose of my measurement is nothing but I'm going to calculate something. I'm going to give some proper content over there. So what actually my monitoring deals with? What actually? So monitoring, controlling are the process needs to track and review and regulate the progress and performance of the project. Okay, this was actually what is monitoring. It is a process which is needed to track and review and also regulate the process over and its performance is also getting checked. This is nothing but monitoring. And when we had these plans in our project management, so this can be reapproved and project gets sponsored also. So what my monitoring will have an overlook over there, so these measurements will be calculated. So whatever calculations I have with me is nothing but it will deals with some basic role, basic ideas. So what my ideas will have, so this is nothing but, sorry, just the basic purpose of measurement is nothing but the project, in a project is to effectively monitor and control the project. Then for monitoring a project schedule, size, efforts, and defects are the basic measurements. Yes, it is the mandatory. That is the size, efforts, and defects are the basic measurements that are needed. Efforts in the main resource consumed in a software project. Efforts is the main resource consumed in the software project because efforts are taken by the human being, and that is a major work, or you can say it is on a high priority that they are taking the efforts in order to get your project, get your project. Okay, simply again we can say size. The size is also another fundamental metric used because many data, for example delivery defect density, so this is nothing but it is data is going to be stored it with respect to means as an normalized with respect to the size. So how much data is there, it decides the size or a capacity. Yeah, now the size of the delivered software can be measured in terms of line of code. Yes, that is LOC. We call a line of code, not line of control, but it is a line of code which can be determined through the use of regular editor and line counter. Means size depends on means 1,000 lines code program hai, or 2,000 lines like a 3,000 lines code. So it is dependent. It is not, we are not going to say the, but the size depends will be is also one of the measurement. Okay, and now the next one, in this measurement we had the second point, that is project monitoring. Measurement is nothing but depends on the your size, again your efforts, your cost. So measurement त्या content वरती मी करू शकते. But the second point what was that it was a project monitoring tracking. But before that we can say that monitoring is a base at a base level. Monitoring is at a base level. But overall when we used to say that ki, it is happening with content, or you can say it is happening with some basic role or basic approach. So we are going with the bottom up approach. We are going with a bottom up approach, and whenever I'm going to analyze, whenever I'm going to say that estimation is going to be built, effort estimation is going to be built, so it is asked as like some basic application or basic, we called it as, you can see here I am providing it, that is efforts equals to a into size. That is nothing but, that is nothing but it is saying that a into size, a into size, the a is nothing but it is considered, or you can say it is a function of a project size, is a function of a project size, and the equations of this will be considered as a into size raised to b. But I think so b is not was I actually, it was here, b is raised to, okay, it is actually here. I will just show you again some equation overall here. equation symbol लेती हूँ मैं इधर. I consider here raised to. Okay, so this is actually a into size raised to b. So where what is actually the a, where a and b are the constants. You can see here a and b are the constant. The project size is generally in LOC as project size. Already I had discussed that LOC is nothing but line of code you are going to present. So when we are saying that efforts is nothing but the human being, I can call it as an E equals to, and suppose there is uh, a project that is there is a data of more than 60 projects that is done at IBM, okay, and some systems are division is there, and it is ranging from, so federal system division is ranging from 4000 to 4006 4067 100 lines we had, and these codes are used to be estimated over in this problem. So when I'm going to put all these values, that time I can say that contents are going to be initialized at each level. So how it will be looks like, that is nothing but if I'm going to multiply each content, yes, I'm going to multiply these contents at a particular level. So it will be giving me some size in a particular manner, that is in a fractional manner or in integral manner. Okay, तो या कॅल्क्युलेशन थ्रू मी काय करणार आहे की फक्त कॅल्क्युलेशन करणार आहे की ओव्हरऑल माझा प्रॉपर मेजरमेंट निघतंय का नाही. Then approaches will be defined rather, but it is totally depend on your line of code. Okay, now next part is monitoring. I have given here, it is monitoring and tracking. Then the monitoring tracking is like this. You can see here monitoring tracking. I have given 11 steps stepwise in a very attractive manner. That is, a diagram is showing itself. So I'm just showing you how it will looks like. So first one is the monitoring and control project work. First one content is the monitoring and project control work. Then next second content or the process is perform integrated change control. It will perform an integrated change control over there. Third process is the validate scope. Validate, you can say, or you can manage it as other contents also. And basic role of my project will goes through in this manner. Again, the status will, because as the main goal of monitoring is to project manager to get visibility into the project execution, and so they can determine whether the actions needed to be taken or to be ensured that the project goals are meets or not. This is my actual goal of monitoring. But there are different types of monitoring at a different level on the project. But three main levels of these activities are level, status reporting, and milestone analysis. Okay, here the three actually main the level side, these are nothing but it is a level, status reporting, and milestone analysis. Then measurements takes, well, whenever I'm saying the measurements are going to be taken, that is on the projects are employed for monitoring. That time these activity levels get monitored. Which one? Level, status reporting, and milestone analysis that will get monitored. And when these types of monitoring can be done in a daily life projects, they will meet, means by the project manager, it will check all the status, and we will have some project completion risk also over there, and that says nothing but it will complete it the content or the task. If I'm going like this in a means properly monitoring, if I'm taking into consideration, then 100% complete detailed schedule will be done, and it will be used to tools like the Microsoft project to track the percentage completion of overall project of the higher level task. Okay, and this is nothing but my report will get generated in a increasing manner, or म्हणजे एका लो लेवलला नाही जाणार, पण one by one it will get in increasing formation. And when we'll how it will be looks like, how it will be looks like. So just I will show you how it will looks like. But doesn't matter, these process will be remains the same. Okay, these process will remain and the same, and it will have some basic conditions with them, and will get over analyzed. It will get over analyzed here. So how whatever I'm saying just here, that it is getting increased in the formation or getting added to the content. So whatever the contents we are going to display, they are having this phase. But in which manner I'm going to make these conditions over here? So like this, it will show you. He contains कसे दिसणार आहेत in a increasing manner. म्हणजे one by one project status report will be get generated. Yeah. So this is actually the contents we had with us. की इथं मी एक दोन मॉडेल घेतले, एक दोन मॉडेल घेतले, मॉडेल 1 मॉडेल 2 टेस्टिंग तिथे प्रोव्हाइड केलेली आहे. प्लॅन बजेट अँड ऍक्च्युअल एक्सपेंडिचर. इथं काय दाखवलंय की मी माझं मेजर कसं करते, मेजरमेंट कसं करते किंवा मॉनिटर कसं करते. तर प्लॅन काय, माझं बजेट कसा प्लॅन आहे आणि एक्सपेंडिचर कशी चालली आहे बघा. दॅट इज नथिंग बट प्रोबेशनल PDR and CDR I have just defined. What actually the PDR is nothing but we are calling it as an professional access, or you can say a critical. CDR will be called as a what we called it as a, just wait, I'm just getting confused. That is PDR is nothing but a preliminary design review. Whatever the pre condition have given, it was designed in this form. And in the CDR is nothing but the critical design review. CDR, that is critical design review. So model 1, model 2 get completion. Again the integration testing, acceptance testing, software testing will be performed for it. But the plan budget is somewhat different. That is shown in the dotted line. It is shown in a dotted line. But the content, that is but directly I am showing that bold line. This chart, it shows that only two milestones have been achieved. That is PDR and CDR. And though the project was within the budget, when the PDR was complete, it is now slightly over budget. Okay, you can see here. That is when I'm saying this PDR, that is whether this diagram is visible to all. Please mention whether this diagram is visible to all. Just reply me in chat box if yes. Whatever the content I am saying, is it visible to all? Is anyone present who can ask me whether it is visible to all or not? Message me. I'm waiting for that. Anyone can reply? Okay. So whenever I'm saying that PDR, that is preliminary, whatever my review, pre-review was there, it is slightly my budget is getting overloaded. So how I get calculated here, how I managed that my expenditures are getting more, because my plan budget is whatever I have shown in the dotted line, and the actual content what I am asking is getting overloaded. Yeah, then this is over budget. So when it is over budget, I can say that this is should not be happen. And when it is happening, it will get accessed over my axis. That is x-axis and y-axis I have given. Whether the x-axis shows me the time, while the my y-axis is dealing with your expenditure, the cumulative budget and expenditure. Okay, in thousand. So this content means x-axis is a time where the months in the projects are marked. Where the months in the projects are marked, means January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. This is marked. Then y-axis represents the cost in dollar. or you can say in rupees also. Then two curves are drawn. I have here drawn two curves. That is, one curve is planned across, means plan the cost and plan schedule, in which each important milestone of the project is marked, and each content, these curves are again marked here one by one. I have marked the contents where each milestones of the projects are marked. These curves can be completed after the project plan is made. After the project plan is made, these curves can be made. Again, the second curves represent the actual second curve, where I'm just saying it is just representing the actual cost and the actual schedule, and the actual achievement of the milestone is marked, where for each milestone the point, whatever the point I am given here, representing the time when the milestone is actually achieved, and the actual cost of the achieving it is marked. So whatever I have here given dotted and draw line, तर इथं मार्क केलेले जे कंटेंट आहेत कर्व्स, हे तुम्हाला ऍक्च्युअल नाही आहेत, हे तुमचे प्लॅन आहे. But what actually happening is just different. Okay, these curves are marked with each phase, and this curve is again marked with a circle. Okay, how you are going to achieve this task. So this is get monitored. This get monitored over there. And when we are saying this monitoration form, these contents are defining. These curves are getting elaborated. Means I have just given a line, but it is again making a curve in between them. So overall, in order to achieve this, we have to set some monitoring phase, and that is nothing but we had these phases over here. And what actually they do? So monitor and control project work. That is the first one. Monitor and control project works will have some basic ideas of it. That is the generic steps under which all the other monitoring and controlling activities are done are under this condition, under this process. Okay. Now the second one, that is a perform integrated change control. It will function, it will involve in making the changes to the project plan. Again, when the changes to the schedule, cost, or any other area of the project management are necessary to plan, that time these projects is a change and reapproved by the project sponsor. Yes, are you getting my point? When I'm saying these programs are getting changed, that time these programs are getting changed and reapproved by the project sponsor, because here I'm going to integrate. Here I'm going to integrate. I'm not saying that it is having some acceptance, but it is an integrated form. Now the third process, that is validate scope. Yes, the third one, that is validate scope. The activities involved with gaining approval of the project's deliverable or not. Validating scope, I'm checking whether the validity part is achieving or not. That is nothing but the activities involved with gaining approval of the projects are deliverable or not. So this is actually the content here we had. Now the fourth process, that is nothing but the control scope. So control scope काय करणार है कि it will ensure you that the scope of the project does not change at the unauthorized activity. You can say that I am ensuring something that will not get changed. म्हणजे आपण इन्श्योर करतो काहीतरी ऍक्टिव्हिटी होणार आहे आणि इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी change its changing its time or changing its phase. You have to perform it, you have to be a part of it, of the plan. Now the whatever it was a control scope, but when I'm saying that the control schedule, then it will involve with ensuring that the project work is performed according to the schedule. कंट्रोल शेड्यूल मीन्स प्रॉपरली त्या वेळेसच झालं पाहिजे. म्हणजे मी जर म्हणत असेल 7 वाजता सगळ्यांनी यायचंय, 7 वाजताच ते यायला पाहिजेत, त्याच्यानंतर कोणालाही आत एंट्री नाही. सो दॅट इज अ कंट्रोल शेड्यूल. आय हॅव डिसाइडेड that this is the perfect time to come, then that content should be completed over that time only. So after, when there is a deadline, when I'm saying that the project is going to be at end, means either there is a deadline, so we have to meet that deadline. So I'm sending that the control schedule should be there. Now the control cost. Yes, the sixth one, that is the control cost, is nothing but it involves and ensure that the project cost stay within the approved budget. म्हणजे जेवढे मला पैसे दिलेले आहेत त्याच्यात, म्हणजे जेवढे अप्रूव्ह झालेले आहेत त्याच्यातच मला ते बसवायचंय, माझं जे काय प्रोजेक्ट आहे ते. Now the seventh one, that is control quality. But here we ensure quality of the project. Means whether it may be at a position where I can deliver that to the client, or whether it is now liable to use. So like that, I need to check control quality. I need to perform some control over there. Okay. Now the third means the next after the control quality, means after checking the conditions, I am having a control communication. So why it is needed? It is providing a communication path for my stakeholder who are dealing with my project, or they are having their project with me. So I need to have a control communication over there. Time beingly, I need to get communicated with them. I need to be in them, in touch with them. So that is nothing but control communication should be there with me, to my stakeholders or to my client. Okay. Now the ninth one, that is the control risk, is one of the part. How I'm going to be controlling my project or controlling the risk over there. That is the unexpected event that negatively impact the project, budget, schedule, stakeholder, and other project success criteria. So in order to save that, in order to make it safe from all these malfunctioning, I use the control risk part over my monitoring phase. Now the next, that is a control procedure procurement, you can say. So that is nothing but it is ensuring that the project sub-coordinators and vendors meet the project goal. Ensuring the project sub-coordinator and vendor meets the project goal. That is nothing but your control procurement. Now the last one, that is the control stakeholder engagement. So stakeholder engagement is nothing but we have to satisfy the project work. The task involves in ensuring that all the project stakeholders are left satisfied with the project work. The task involved with ensuring that all the project stakeholders are left satisfied with the project work. So overall, the last one is nothing but I am asking them whether my project has been completed with your approval, or whether you are satisfied with me or not. Similarly, this is nothing but it is just a review, or it is asking for here its own profit. की हे कधी करणार, तो मॉनिटर करायचंय, बरोबर आहे, ट्रॅकिंग करायचंय, बरोबर आहे, बट simultaneously I need to get some involvement over there in order to again achieve another point in achieve the content or achieve the phases over with me. Because when we had overall checking or monitoring, we need to have that proper communication with them. So that's why we had here one content, that is the control communication with the stakeholder. It is mandatory so that they are happy or not. We have to consider their mindset. So this is all my project monitoring contents we have. And similarly, I have shown you the graph, what it deals with and what actually it needs to be having. Okay. And a similar next point regarding this is nothing but, is any doubt? Again, I will just repeat what are the actually the processes we had with our project monitor control. So it is nothing a process which will we needed to track or review or regulate the progress and performance of the project. Also, and it will identify any area where changes to the project can be managed. Means if suppose sometime I have changed with some software, I change with some designing part. So all this get monitored over there. Yeah. And it is again happening with my controlling part. So it is scheduled with some 11 process. So first one process was your monitor and control project work. We have to undergo all the monitoring controlling activities which falls under it. We have to check. Then performance integration will involve making the changes to the project. Whatever the changes you had made should be get planned with the proper communication and with the proper uh, goal. We have to set that. We have to integrate all that changes means regarding schedule असेल किंवा कॉस्ट असेल एरिया असेल जो काही असेल तर ते सगळं मला इंटिग्रेट करायचं अँड शुड बी गेट रिअप्रूव्ड अगेन बिकॉज मी जे काही चेंजेस करणार आहे दे आर ऑल्सो गेट अप्रूव्ड अगेन बिकॉज जर कुणाला पटत नसेल कारण एकाची डिपेंडन्सी दुसऱ्यावरती असते मग त्याला जर प्रॉब्लेम येत असेल तर तो ऍग्री होणार नाही. So similarly, I need to check whether it is getting reapproved by all the program members or not. Now the next is nothing but validate scope. So it will involve with gaining approval of the projects which are deliverable at any cost and with having an approval property, that is it is valid to use. So this is actually the condition. Actually the condition for getting approved content or getting validate part. Now control scope, having again it will scope the project which does not change at any other activity, means after any other changes means unauthorized activities will not be performed and they are not going to change the project scope. So that is my control scope. I will perform the content which are already defined with us. Now the control schedule, I need to check whether it is getting performed according to the schedule and getting meeting the deadline dates or not. So that is my control schedule. Then control cost will have the cost within the approved budget. Should have a cost within their approved budget. It should not give access goes through the access of my project. And also it will deliver the content with most of the waiting weighted project should be get defined. Then in order to check that, I have given a control quality in a monitor and tracking or controlling process. But we had this control quality to check whether that contents are now available to get delivered to the particular stakeholder or not. So that is my control quality. Control communication should be established with the stakeholder for their, again, whatever maybe their requirements are, so we can get communicate with them easily. Then control risk is nothing but to calculate the unexpected risk going to be done, and we have to control that risk with our at level, and we have to establish or we have to give a project at its successful rate. Now the next one is the control procurements, that is nothing but the subcoordinators or vendors should meet their project goal. Whatever I have committed them that this is going to be happen, that is going to be built up. So that contains or should be meet with these goals. Okay. And the last process, that is nothing but the control stakeholder engagement. Engage whatever the engage I am going to do the particular stakeholder. I'm going to integrate them. I'm going to communicate with them. I'm going to establish a proper control over them so that they are maybe they may should have a satisfaction over from us. Means whatever the product we had going to distribute them, that will be they will be happy with us and they will decide whether the next project or next any content or assignment will be given to us or not. So this is nothing but all the monitoring and controlling process we had. Again, we had seen that graph, which is nothing but I am just saying that how I'm going to control or monitor, and again how to measure the quality product or project manage monitoring content. How can I be getting access over there? Yeah. Now the last point of this chapter is nothing but I have just given a detail whatever I have said detail about this diagram. I have just given you a reference, so you can go through it, and I have already discussed here itself in the PPT whatever the contents we had with this, the process, how it is going to be deal with it. Okay. Now the next point of the chapter is nothing but the detailed schedule, to which I am calling as a detailed schedule. कशाला म्हणायचं detailed schedule? तर इथे दोन डायग्राम्स दाखवलेले ते हाय लेवल शेड्यूल फॉर प्रोजेक्ट आणि पोर्शन ऑफ द डिटेल शेड्यूल. त्याची इन्फो मी सांगते, बट पहिल्या आधी त्याच्या आधी बघू की व्हॉट इज ऍक्च्युअली द डिटेल शेड्यूलिंग इज. So detailed scheduling is nothing but I have a block, means if suppose there is a project management plans to do, and which is get established their project goals for effort, schedule and quality, and defines the approach for risk management, ensuring the quality and project monitoring. So in order now overall this I'm just reading it for your reference. I'm just reading the content over there in the PPT, whatever they give. I'm just reading, then I will explain what actually it is saying. Now this is the overall plan to be translated into detailed action plan, which can be then followed in the project, and which is followed will lead to the successful project. And that is, we need to develop a detailed plan or a schedule of what to do when such the following this plan will lead to delivering the software with expected quality and within the cost and schedule. Again, whereas the overall planning document is typically prepared at the start of the project and is relatively static. The detailed plan is a dynamic document that reflects the current plan of the project. The detailed plan is what assigns work item to individual member of the team. So that is nothing but we had this detailed scheduling is nothing but it defines some efforts I need to take, some contents I need to estimate, some proper. I'm saying some, but it is not some, but we have to be in a very detailed formation. Detailed information should be given at each level whenever I'm going to calculate some amount, or whenever I'm going to calculate the efforts whatever we had. So it is just said to it, and again it will have a phrase over there. Yeah. And again I can have an idea for a detail. So example we can take uh, the detailed design phase can be broken into tasks for building or developing a detailed design for each module. Suppose it is defining some detailed designing, fixing of the defect found, and so on. एक एक्झाम्पल घेऊ की ज्याच्यात मला एक डिटेल डिझाईन तयार करायची, त्याच्यात मला बग्स आहेत ते फाइंड आउट करायचे. And for each detailed task, the project manager, or for each detailed task, the project manager will have means a time required. Whatever the time estimate he is going to be planned should be get completed and assigned to suitable resources, so that the overall schedule is met and the overall efforts can be also matches. So in addition to that, the engineering task, म्हणजे आपण जे म्हणलो होतो की आउट बॉटम अप और कोणता अप्रोच आपल्याला यूज करायचा आहे, so that can be used for my quality check. That is nothing but it is a detailed in the detail form. So what I am just saying that in the detail, whatever the detail scheduling is, it is nothing but it is a generally concept of uh, whatever you are going to be scheduled in your project, whatever the schedule contents you have, means after which content you are going to deal with, after which phase you are going to ask that formation. So all these parts we had with it in the detailed scheduling, and that detailed scheduling is nothing but it is an iterative process. Repetition is very much essential here, and always one by one contents are get scheduled. So there is no any reason to have a lacuna in this, and we have to perform some activities related. It may be related to project management, it may be related to coordination, it may have related to the database management or configuration management. So all these activities we have to go through in our detailed scheduling. Again, even though the activities like means you can say testing, or you can say an activities which are dealing with some proper conditions which are resuming your resources, and again sorry, consuming your resources, and hence you are going to include the project schedule. So overall detailed scheduling is nothing but I need to provide all these features over there. And here really we can say that the project manager meets with the detailed solution, because इन प्रिव्हियस कंडिशन, जर सपोज मी एखादा प्रोजेक्ट बनवत असेल तर त्याच्या आधीची कंडिशन आणि डिझाईन झाल्यानंतरची कंडिशन इट इज टोटली डिफरंट, बिकॉज आपल्याला काहीतरी वेगळं सांगितलेलं असतं, आपण करतो वेगळं आणि तेच प्रेझेंट करतो. अँड फॉर दॅट पर्पज इट इज गेटिंग व्हेरी मच यू कॅन से टफ इन ऑर्डर टू डिफाईन. तो इथे मी जे डायग्राम दाखवलेली आहे ह्याच्यात, की पहिलं टेबल आहे आणि सेकंड पण टेबल आहे. तर पहिला टेबल इज नथिंग बट हाय लेवल फॉर शेड्यूल प्रोजेक्ट. तो काय म्हणजे काय करतो तो, so it is nothing but it is showing me something. What is showing that? It is showing that the it using a rational unified process. We had already seen that what is actually RUP, that is rational unified process, in which the initial requirement and design is done in two iteration. Here only two iteration is required in order to get initially and design part. And the development is done in the three iteration. Development is done in three iteration. So we had overall project duration is also given with less milestone, means whatever the milestone we had is, that is nothing but 140 days. Yes, it is a 140 days schedule, and it is given as the high level schedule is an outcome of overall project planning. High level schedule is an outcome of the overall project planning and not suitable for assigning resources and detailed planning. Also, it is not suitable, that is we can do an assigning resources over there. So here the tasks are given, that is project initiation, regular activities, training, knowledge sharing task, inception phase, elaboration iteration 1 2, construction iteration 1 2 3, so transition phase, back end work. So overall this is given as a high level schedule. Here काय म्हणजे इथं काय दिलेलं आहे, फक्त ड्युरेशन दिलाय, वर्क्स पर्सन्स पर डे किती, आणि स्टार्ट डे काय आणि एंड डे काय. म्हणजे एक मॉड्यूल तुम्हाला जर कम्प्लीट एक करायचं असेल तर त्याच्यासाठी मला हे असे कंटेंट मला लागणार, बट इट इज नॉट टोटली गिवन डिटेल. It is just an overview. We can say here it is only a done activity is not done fully here at the start, but rather that it can take place in many times during this project. तो टास्क बरेच आहेत की हे टास्क ओपन रिपीट होणार आहे. तो नेक्स्ट मी जो टेबल दाखवलेला आहे कोणता, दॅट इज नथिंग बट युअर पोर्शन ऑफ द डिटेल शेड्यूल. तर मी कसं करणार आहे, आता इथे मी काय डायरेक्टली दिले, प्रोजेक्ट इनिशिएशन, रेग्युलर ऍक्टिव्हिटीज, ट्रेनिंग. So these are the tasks, but in my portion means one by one I am just getting that, so that mean it is showing my phase one, iteration phase one of the project, that is construction of the project. Iteration one is going to be get ready, and for each activity the table specifies, for each activity the table specifies the activity by a short time, activity by a short time, and it will have a basic you can say module that can be achieved with an activity which is going to be contribute, and the effort, then the efforts, that is the duration may be specified. For each task how much is completed is given in percentage form. Here how much is completed, it is given in a percentage form, and so that the information is used for activity tracking. तो इथून काय होणार आहे की तुमच्या ऍक्टिव्हिटीकडे लक्ष देण्यासाठी मग त्यांनी ते शेड्यूल केलेलं, मीन्स इट इज अ प्रॉपर शेड्यूलिंग ओव्हर देअर. completely, whenever I'm saying that the predecessor, or you can say the activities which are having depending on any other, they are again elaborated here. So मी मॉड्यूल दाखवला इथं डायग्राम मध्ये बघा टेबल मध्ये. तो पोर्शन डिटेल्स आर अगेन शेड्यूल हियर. पोर्शन डिटेल कोणते कोणते आहेत, दे आर अगेन शेड्यूल हियर. तर मी मॉड्यूल्स दिलेत बघा, हिस्ट्री अँड कॉन्फिगरेशन मॅनेजमेंट क्वालिटी, and tasks are again elaborated. The requirement, design, rework, coding, review again, rework, test, then rework, reconciling, tracking, analysis. तर याच्यात आता मी काय केलं, मॉड्यूल डिफाईन केलेत आणि टास्क पोर्शन मध्ये डिवाइड केलेले. आणि ह्या पोर्शन मध्ये फायनली इट विल गेट elaborately or it will get totally about 325 schedule tasks. आता इथे तेवढे नाहीये दाखवलेले, पण त्याचे असे कॅल्क्युलेशन जर मी करायला गेले तर 325, 360 असा काहीतरी आकडा होईल तुमचा, जो काही शेड्यूल टास्क केलेला आहे तुम्ही. बिकॉज each one having an efforts day, it is already given here, efforts day, then start day, yeah, then end day. But what is actually the whether it is receiving 100% or not, it is checked. Yeah, मीन्स इथे आता रिक्वायरमेंट साठी काय दिले, एफर्ट डेज किती दिलेत, 1.33 मीन्स दीड दिवस. सो बट रिगार्डिंग दॅट आय एम स्टार्टिंग विथ द डेट 7/10 and you are starting with a ratio that is start is at the 10 in the July months. I'm starting this content, and at the end when that is on the 21st of July, I'm getting it. I'm getting the result. That is it is done. So I have given 100%. So कसं केलंय की शेड्यूल केले ते मॉड्यूल्स क्रिएट करून परत त्यांना ड्रास्टिकली in a portion I have divided. So this is nothing but your detailed scheduling. If anybody is having मीन्स एक एक्झाम्पल द्यायचं झालं तर आपण फक्त एक ओव्हरलुक देतो की आता हे करायचंय ते करायचंय, किंवा काय कॉलेजला कॉलेजचं द्यायचं असेल तर मग आपले बुक्स वगैरे आपण भरतो वन बाय वन बॅग मध्ये. बट सिमिलरली जेव्हा असं काही होतं की लाईट गेली किंवा तुम्हाला टीचिंग करता आलं नाही, तर ऍट दॅट टाइम फॉर सेटिंग इट मीन्स फॉर मेकिंग इट what we called it as just quit, when we are going to make it as a proper at a proper level, that time that scheduling will focus on my work, or it will focus on my performance. So detailed scheduling will have generally at a lowest level, but we make it to reach at a high level. So this is overall my detailed scheduling is. But actually the detailed projects, whenever I'm saying going to be say that detailed scheduling is going to be done, then it is not never a static formation, because changes may be done, because the actual progress in the project may be different from what was planned, because never the new tasks are going to be added in response to change the request, or because of other unforeseen situation, I can say. Changes are done, and when the needs arises, the final schedule will frequently maintain the some suitable tools. So this is nothing but a detailed contains they are interchangeable. And it should be noted that the only numbers of resources is desired during the overall project planning. But after that, it is in the detail, effectively one can done, and only one after actual assignments of the people, we can say, have to be done. And as the task assignment is nothing but it is an capability of the team member who is going to be deal with it. And this is overall we have with means that project is going to be assume that project team is going to lead that project. And when I'm saying that the risk management or the requirement is given to one proper team, so they are going to deal only that much content. So none other the contents or none other module or a task they are going to deal. So this detailed conditions are going to be checked at each level. So this is nothing but it is a by portion you are going to check the statistically means you are taking the scheduling part. You are checking each and every content. And once the overall schedule is fixed, then details for many phases can be done at the start. Okay. Again, one by one, you can have that changes over there. You can go through that. Again, you have to make such simultaneously a checklist for the task can be given. Again, that top level activity is not done here fully, but a start. But at the start, you can go through that the many content or many places or many times during the project we have to face these contents. या तर हाय लेवल शेड्यूल मध्ये मी दाखवलं होतं की या पहिल्या टेबल मध्ये दाखवलंय की तुम्हाला डायरेक्टली ड्युरेशन वर्क पर्सन अँड स्टार्ट डेट एंड डेट दिलेली आहे अँड देर इज नो एनी चेकिंग ki whether it is completed or not. You have to just go through it and you have to complete anyhow. So in the portion, it is again divided furtherly. Task is again divided furtherly. In these contents are given in the module and they are again further divided into a portion. They are again converted into portion. So this is your detailed design part. Yeah. So the next point, just I have discussed here about these diagrams, whatever we had. So for figure first shows the high level schedule of the project, and these projects use the rational unified process in which initial requirement and design is done in 2 iteration and development is done in the 3 iteration. The overall project duration with this milestone is 140 days. Yeah, it is a 140 days as per scheduling. It is 140 days. And the second one shows the part of the detailed schedule of the construction iteration 1 phase of the project. Again, for each activity, the table specify the activity by short name. Again, the modules to which the activity is contributing and the efforts. That is, the duration may also be specified. For each task, how much is completed is given in percentage. So it is again a complete column we had given. And this information is used for activity tracking and the detailed schedule. The detailed schedule is again specify the resource to which the task is going to be assigned. That is specified by initials of the person. Okay. So initials whenever we are going to deal. So details design is nothing but we had a complete information of that content, whether it is completed or not, whether it is given to a people or whether it is again in a pending formation. So all this content. Ata hita UC 17, UC 19 is nothing but I am taking a review content. Overall, you can just it is a part. Just remind if you are not getting remember it, leave it. But it is only a image I have shown you how they are going to estimate their scheduling in a detailed form. Okay. And again, one more thing I need to add here in the detailed scheduling when we used to focus up on a particular content. So we have mostly we use tools here, but that tools maybe in the detailed scheduling we use tools like Microsoft Project or a spreadsheet. It is very useful because at low level means at lowest level activity, project manager can specify the efforts, duration, start date, end date and how much resources it needs. But as the time being, as the project gets started, dependencies will get large. Means one content is dependent on another, another is dependent on another. So in between, dependence between the activities due to either of the dependent or something. So you can have these overall. म्हणजे आता तुमचं बघा एक एक्झाम्पल देते याच्यात कसं डिपेंडन्सी कशी होते तुम्ही टेस्ट देता आयएससी देता टीएसटी देता ओबीटी देता आयएससी परत हे आयएससी चे मार्क्स कॅल्क्युलेट करतो आम्ही 20 पैकी आणि 10 मार्क्स आम्ही कन्सिडर करतो टीएसटी ओबीटी साठी तर ते ओव्हरऑल तुमचं जे टर्म वर्क असतं ओव्हरऑल टर्म वर्क इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन युअर परफॉर्मन्स अँड अटेंडन्स अगेन अटेंडन्सचे 5 मार्क तिथे ऍड होतात ओके अगेन युअर बिहेवियर इज ऑल्सो गेटिंग ऍडेड ओव्हर ऑन युअर what we can say in on a mark. And again UT 1, 2, 3 these marks also get added for achieving your task or attainment. So this is nothing but when I am saying the detailed scheduling is going to be performed, so I need to calculate whenever I am going to calculate the term work for a person or a student. I need to calculate its ISC, its average. Then unit, if I am taken the unit test, I need to calculate its average. Again, if there is any lab book or any other content you had completed the assignments or not. Again, I need to check over all that. And on that condition, and your main, that is attendance, is mandatory. That is, it is depend for your term work. तो ओव्हरऑल मी काय करते, एक डिटेल्स कलेक्ट करते त्या स्टुडंटची. बिकॉज असं कधी होत नाही की एका स्टुडंटला आणि सगळ्या स्टुडंटला एकसारखे मार्क आहेत. देअर इज अ व्हेरिएशन. Why? Because their performance, their attendance, their completion, their content or unit test given content, they are depending. की हे सगळं जर असेल तर त्याला मार्क्स किंवा टर्मवर्क्स 20च्या पुढे असतील किंवा 24 असतील, 23 असतील, 22 असतील. बट असं कधीच होत नाही की सगळे स्टुडंट्सला सगळे सारखे कॉमन मार्क्स असतात. वाय? बिकॉज इट इज नॉट mandatory to have each and every contents get scheduled at a proper time, or at a condition where we have this deciding overall project planning will get executed. And similarly, तर प्रोजेक्ट साठी असं झालं तर हे झालं फक्त एक जनरल एक्झाम्पल दिलं होतं तुम्हाला की युनिट टेस्ट मी अशी दिली तर काय होईल. ओके. So if anybody having any problem, you can ask me regarding these 2 points that we had seen today, that is monitoring and control processing and detailed scheduling. If anybody having a problem, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will conclude and you will have a small random quiz test by the time. After the attendance, I will give you the test online. If anybody having a problem, you can ask me, or shall we conclude the sentence? Reply me if anybody having a doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will conclude the session. I will take the presentee and will go for an online exam. Means online test you will have an MCQ. You can reply me. Okay, we will conclude. Thank you, and we'll go for attendance, and then you will have a small 15 minutes test you will have online. Okay, I will just give you the code, as well as you will have to just log in it and get it clear with time, because 15 minutes only I am going to given for it, and you have to complete within that time. Okay, just wait, stop the